Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the City of Parker's council meeting. Mr. Rega, would you be interested in doing the blessing for us tonight? Would you please stand?
Didn't do roll call.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, as we convene for this meeting, we ask for your blessing on our discussions. May this time serve as a lesson in action, reminding us of the importance of collaboration and support. Help us to focus on our Christian life, reflecting on the values you have instilled in us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
What it be? Ron?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Yes, sir. Miss Farah?
Here.
Miss Botiford? Here. Mr. Chappell?
Here.
Mr. Haney? Here. Mayor Kelly?
Thank you. Yes, I'm here. And audience, as we always do, if there's anybody in the audience at this time that would like to talk about something that's not on the agenda, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and we'll hear what you have to say. Nobody? Okay, well, we'll move right along. First item is the approval of the minutes from the 3rd of June.
Make a motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve?
Will you second it?
We have 2 seconds. So we have a first and a second. Please, would you call the roll, Madam Clerk?
Miss Farah?
Yes.
Miss Botiford? Yes. Mr. Chappell?
Yes.
Mr. Haney?
Yes.
Mayor Kelly?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Item 2 is the resolution of 410 for the LMS plan. Mr. Sloan?
Yes, sir, Mayor. This resolution is similar to the resolutions that were requested by the county for all the cities to enact. On the third, my understanding is on the 3rd of June, the county approved the LMS plan, and this basically accepts and approves that plan for that Bay County approved. So
Correct.
it is simply to put you in line with the other cities approving the same Bay County plan.
Yes, sir. For what it's worth, council, just for your edification, the LMS is an important document that we all follow, all the cities in the county. And every year it has to be upgraded, changed, or make amendments to thereof. I had a lengthy conversation today with Mr. Summerlin. There was nothing in there that made a significant change to Parker other than the fact that the county has to update it. LMS is a local mitigating strategy. It's important that we know this information so that in case we have to, mostly after a hurricane, have to mitigate a repair or whatever it may be, a pipe or something, and if we follow the LMS, that's something that we would use as a road to pave, or a way to get funding for different projects. So we need a first, a second to vote on it.
Make a motion to approve.
We have a motion
Well,
to.
you gotta read first.
No, motion.
I thought you did it already.
Motion to.
A motion to read. That's right. Yeah.
Motion
Okay.
to read.
Second.
Got a first, a second. Call the roll, please.
Okay, Miss Farah?
Yes.
Miss Botiford? Yes. Mr. Chappell?
Yes.
Mr. Haney?
Yes.
Mayor Kelly?
Yes.
Resolution number 2025-410, a resolution of the City of Parker, Florida, adopting the 2025 Bay County Local Mitigation Strategy Plan, repealing all resolutions in conflict herewith, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Very good.
Now you need a motion to adopt.
Yep.
Motion to adopt.
And do I have a first?
Second
Yes.
Ms. Haney?
Yes.
Very good, sir. Do we have a second? We have a second? Katie? And would you please call the roll, please, Madam
Miss
Clerk?
Farah?
Yes.
Miss Botiford? Yes. Mr. Chappell?
it. Yes.
Mr. Haney?
Yes.
Mayor Kelly?
Yes, very much so. Okay, item 3 is the CDBG policy. Is that you, Mr. Sloan? I think it is.
Well, it started with Mr. Summerlin, but I was advised that the city had to have a policy.
Okay.
Manual for federal awards. We were provided with a draft. I updated it and made it Parker specific, and so the manual is being presented to you today. I don't know if Mr. Summerlin has any comments on it, but
We just have to adopt this policy to be compliant with
So we would just need a motion to adopt the policy manual for federal
Correct.
awards.
Anybody?
First.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Henny's second. You call a roll, please, for the CDGB policy?
Ms. Barrow?
Yes.
Ms. Botiford?
Yes.
Mr. Chapel?
Yes.
Mr. Haney?
Yes.
Mayor Kelly?
Yes, thank you, council. Item 4 is not for us to, do we present this, Mr. Summerlin? We don't, do we? This gentleman's here to present it. It's a resolution 2025-411 AMP study presentation. Good evening again, sir.
Hey, good evening. It's good to see you again.
You too. I always know it's June because I see you once a year, it
That's
seems
right.
like.
It seems like that. Yes, I was going to say a lot of familiar faces. My name is Ron Nally. I'm with Florida Rural Water Association. Tonight we are here. Well, I was going to say, y'all are so efficient. I tell you, I love sitting in meetings where y'all just knock it off like that. That's great. A couple of years ago, I was sitting in the audience doing the same thing, except we were talking about water. Tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about wastewater. So tonight, you have your asset management plan in front of you. You should have 3 documents. One is a 100+ document. The second is about a 13-page summary, and the third is a resolution. You'll be happy to know I'm not going to go over the 100-page document with you. So what I am going to do is just touch quickly, about 10 minutes or so, on your 13-page summary. So that's what I'll use in the meeting tonight. Just a little bit about us. Florida Rural Water Association is a nonprofit agency. We help systems all over the state. We have about 45 employees. We have 2,500 members, roughly. We help the smallest of our systems, usually mobile home parks, to our largest of systems, Tampa and some of those others. So we cover the whole gamut of water and wastewater operations, maintenance, engineering, you name it, we can do it. Or if we can't do it, we find somebody who can. So again, pleasure to be here with you tonight. About 15 years ago, the state decided that in order to take advantage of the state revolving fund, you were going to have an asset management plan. A part of that requirement they knew would be a burden on the small and medium-sized systems. So they did 3 things. They formed 3 partnerships. One was with us to provide this asset management plan free of charge to you. So this doesn't cost you a dime, and it allows you to take advantage of the interest rate reduction. Also allows you to take advantage of any grants that they may give you or that you may qualify for. So it's a good deal. The second is Diamond Maps, which y'all already use. We are able to take all the information we gather from the plan, transfer it over to Tony's group. They can use it right away. So it was with Diamond Maps to develop a computerized mapping system for small and medium-sized systems. The third was to develop RevPlan, which is with Raftellus, and they are probably the premier name of rate studies in the state. And they developed this in conjunction with Florida Rural Water to help our small and medium-sized systems. So again, that's how this came about, and we're happy to present to you your plan for the wastewater services tonight. If you'll just take a look at the summary, again, that's the shorter document. I'm just going to hit the tables, the highlights in the tables, so you can follow along. I also try to cover some of the information so the folks in the audience can sort of hear what we did. An asset management plan is exactly what it sounds like. We come in and we take a look at all your wastewater assets. So we opened all the manholes, we looked at pumps, motors, your lift stations, dry wells, wet wells, all your electrical equipment. Did all of that and wrote a report. The result of that report is to see what's working, what's not working, and how much it's going to cost for you to maintain that system over the lifetime of those assets. And so that's what we're presenting with you to you tonight. You'll see that you had about 1,500 assets in your system. You'll see your buildings, your control valves, your dry wells. You had about 35 miles of sewer line. Probably the biggest impact to me was doing 589 manholes, opening each one of them, taking a look at and assessing those. Of course, we had help with the city staff that we certainly appreciate. What I appreciate most about coming to Parker is that your staff actually helps me out. And what's amazing to me is when we find something that's wrong, they're already fixing it by the next week or the next time I'm here. So that's always a nice thing to see. So you have a list of all your assets, the cost of those assets, the replacement cost, and the percent that needs replacement. Overall, the total replacement cost of your system is about $25 million. Again, this is a little bit on the low side because while we take a look at the pump and the motor, we don't calculate the pad that it goes on, the cost to put the electric in, those kind of things. So I always tell boards that this is a low number, 25 million. Roughly about 5% of your wastewater system needed replacement, and the cost to replace that was about $1.3 million. Now, if you don't remember anything from tonight's presentation, the one number that I would like you to remember is this next one, and that's your annual replacement cost. This is always referred to as your magic number. It's $491,000. What that means is that every year you need to put aside $491,000 for your wastewater system. And that's in order to replace that system through the next 20 to 50 years. So again, it sounds like a large chunk of money, but keep in mind that you already put some money aside for repair and replacement, so you can back that out. You also get grants. Y'all are excellent in finding money, and so you can back that out. So that's not a total. You don't have to come up with $491,000 worth of cash. What you have to do is come up with something that equals that roughly. So as a board, you would want to ask staff, or tell us, are we close to that $491,000? So again, that's your magic number. Keep that in mind. That's the replacement value that you need to put aside each year for your system, for your wastewater system. As I said, there were about 1,500 assets, and on this page, you'll see the asset conditions. It's similar to a traffic light. Red is bad, means stop. Yellow is average. Orange is poor. Black means that it failed. So again, as I would suspect in your system, being installed in the 1970s, most everything is average. You do have those pores. Those oranges are starting to creep in, as you can see from the left-hand side, so you want to pay attention to those. The other nice thing about coming to Parker is we're in the middle of putting in liners for your manholes. That's going to increase the age and the function of that manhole for a number of years to come. So again, good projects that are going on. But again, know that as you go on, your poor and failed assets are going to creep in, and you just have to find a way to help pay for those. In the next page, you'll see your estimated useful life and the average service life remaining. Again, these are averages. So you might have 589 manholes. Most of those are going to be in average condition, but you do have poor manholes and you do have failed manholes. Same thing with your electrical components, your security equipment, your system valves, those control valves. Again, these are averages that I'm presenting to you tonight. You'll see again in the estimated useful life, over 10 years is in green, so you're sort of good, but as you can see, those yellows and oranges are starting to creep in there. So that's the 0 to 5 years remaining and 5 to 10 years remaining. What that really means to us is that as you see those start creeping up, you should ask your staff, your public works director, should we start setting aside money for these projects? If you're looking at the 0 to 5 to 5 to 10, you want to be finding money. If it's 0 to 5 or it already failed, you need to be finding it for this year. The next page is your asset risk and criticality. This is always a nice document that I like to show boards. Imagine, if you can, those are about 1,500 small dots, but because you have so many so many manholes, so many things that are large numbers, they show up as larger dots. So you're not going to see, 1,500 small dots that you see there. This is nice from a budget's perspective. You'll see in the green, those are sort of low priority. The yellow is your medium priority, orange is medium high, and red is high. So again, as a board, I would think every year when Tony prints this off for you, anything that's in that high priority category, y'all should have already set aside some money to help replace those assets. As you move the yellow to the orange, you're thinking more about, are we putting those projects in the capital improvement plan? Is it are projects already geared up to take place or take care of those assets? Your critical assets, again, we always find things, the nature of the beast, so to speak, that aren't operating as intended. Again, this is sort of short compared to some of the other cities that I've worked with. You'll see some dry well, poor dry wells. You'll see a couple of failed manholes, which I think have already been repaired, so good job there. There were about 76 poor manholes. A lot of those were in the section that you were lining. So I know a lot of those have been repaired at this point. I also know that y'all have sort of certain areas. You had a lot of hydrogen sulfide in those, so y'all will be working on those, and some bypass valves. So overall, a great report for you. Level of service is a requirement that is included in your asset management plan, state statute requirement, and really that's goals and objectives. And I think y'all have already done a pretty good job about that, stating what your goal is to provide, you know, a safe place for wastewater to go, and then putting together goals and objectives of how to reach that. So that's really what that requirement is. Your CIP is included in there, and again, this is just a takeoff of what you've been presented in the, I guess it was 1 or 2 years ago, Tony, is that about right? It's now about a couple years old. So you want to continually update that capital improvement plan. What I always suggest is a requirement of the asset management plan program is that you implement this asset management plan. So what you want to do is tie your implementation, your asset management plan updates into your budget process. So I would recommend doing your AMP update, your CIP update, and then your budget, the final adoption of your budget. That always seems to help systems as they move along with asset management programs. Forecasted capital requirements. Usually we'll have 2 or 3 pages here of finance related information. Staff is going to be putting this information together using RevPlan. So a requirement is that you need to go ahead and finish RevPlan, the models, and I believe their finance staff's gonna present that to you as you do your budget. So we are always available to help if you need it, again, to look over the models. But that section was sort of left out because y'all are already using RevPlan and are working on that. So for people out in the audience, some key statistics: $25 million in replacement cost of your wastewater. It should say assets. Sorry about that. $5,700 per capita cost. About 95% of your assets are in fair or better condition, which is a good percentage. Again, your magic number is about 491,000. Again, if you take anything away from tonight, just please remember that. In conclusion, you know, again, we are happy to work with you. We appreciate y'all. We appreciate the work that y'all do. This is a priority action list. In about 2 years, DEP, and we've already had this discussion, DEP is going to sit down with you and ask, what have you accomplished since you adopted this plan? And this is the list they're going to go off of. So, you know, I always encourage staff to go ahead and hang this on the wall, to go over it. You know, I can quickly go over this if you'd like to. Again, it's about 20 or 30 different projects that need to be completed over a period of 5 to 10 years. DEP says you don't have to do them in order. You don't have to do them, all of them. Or I'm sorry, you don't have to do all of them. You don't have to do them in order, but you have to do something. And so just keep that in mind as a board, that over the years, you do have to do something as far as rates, as far as replacing your assets, and as far as getting some financial sustainability around replacing those assets. So again, drinking from a fire hose, I know, but I did want to keep it short since y'all were moving right along. Do y'all have any questions for me? Again, a lot of information, I know.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Should we attach the summary to the resolution, or should we attach the 100-page document?
It's the 100-page document.
Over,
Yes,
yeah.
sir. Yes, sir. That's what will be attached to the resolution.
Okay.
We
And
need to
again-
read, right?
Yes, sir. You'll need a motion to read and then a motion to adopt.
Okay. Council, anybody would like to make a motion to read?
I'll make a motion to read.
We have a motion to read. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Madam, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Barrow?
Yes.
Ms. Botiford?
Yes.
Mr. Chapel?
Yes.
Mr. Haney?
Yes.
Mayor Kelly?
Yes.
Resolution number 2025-411, a resolution of the City of Parker approving the City of Parker wastewater asset management and fiscal sustainability plan, authorizing the mayor and public works director to take all actions necessary to effectuate the intent of this resolution, providing for an effective date.
We need a motion to carry this.
Discussion?
Yes, ma'am.
Hatfo 61344 Stratford. Question is probably for you. Wastewater, we're looking at 400,000 and change, and I looked at the water system, we're looking at about 267,000 and change, and that was a couple of years ago. What's the percentage increase? Is there a known increase of, yeah, this is what it was 2 years ago, but, I mean, we know what the water line over here on 98 is gonna cost. Do you have any guesstimate on that?
But not a recent guess. What I can tell you is that we've seen prices go sky high, especially on chemicals and on pipe,
Yeah.
some of the stuff that they're working on. So, I would say that it's probably a little bit higher now.
So, just looking at these figures, let's say 267 and, let's make it, well, 500, so about $800,000 a year. Whether we set it aside or whether the city plans the projects and then looks for grants, looks for, I don't wanna say special assessments, but that's what we should be doing, is planning that, moving forward.
That's the total replacement cost of your system.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody else have anything they'd like to bring up? We have a first and a second to adopt, is that correct? Do we?
I first it.
Okay, we have a first, we have a second to adopt?
I'll say.
I want number 2.
Okay, Johnson, I thought we had a first and a second. You call roll, please.
Ms. Barrow?
Yes.
Ms. Botiford?
Yes.
Mr. Chapel?
Yes.
Mr. Haney?
Yes.
Mayor Kelly?
Yes.
I just wanna say, he was talking about how good we've all done, but we have to give credit to Mr. Summerlin and the staff for what they've done, keeping up with this and taking care of it.
I agree with you totally, Ms. Barrow. Every day, they just amaze me what they're able to do and how much money they save the city by the talent that we have on our staff. And I know you know I'm friends with Mr. Sullivan, but he is an outstanding public works director. And when I became the mayor, it was just pleasing to watch him work his department. I do not have to worry about him. They just do the right thing every day. Mr. Nally came last time and gave us excellent guidance, and we are making the necessary changes for the future so that we don't get caught short. He briefed me today that we do have a problem in one of the lift stations, and we're going to take care of it. And it's not many cities that have employees that can make a below surface repair, and we have that. We have those kind of people. So anyway, that's it for the agenda. Ron, do you have anything you'd like to talk about?
Well, you stole some of my thunder. I was going to congratulate our workers also to keeping the parks clean, keeping the fishing pier clean. They do an outstanding job. I don't know how many of you all go and look at these places, but the city employees really have Parker at heart, and they do, my consideration, they do much more than what they're really required to do. I was out there today watching them pour the concrete, and they did an excellent job. Our park is starting to look really beautiful, and I just hope people will appreciate it once they get completely done.
Mr. Haney, you're up, sir.
I just have a question for Mr. Summerlin. I'm just going to assume that the findings by AMP were part of the issues that we had on 11th Street. Lance, was that some of their findings?
On the asset management plan, or?
With the study of the stormwater,
Mm-hmm.
was that some of their findings?
No. No, the issues we found.
I see. Okay. I'm just curious.
Yeah, like I said, with the main failure we found there at 11th Street was we put our sewer camera in there to figure out what's going on, and the camera showed us what was going on.
Understood.
I want to know why you planted them radishes over there.
Had to keep the dust down.
Miss Barry, you're up. Not even answering it.
Mr. Summerlin, when you put this on the wall, pick the easiest ones to do.
Very good. Kate?
I'm good.
Okay, I just got a couple things. 2 or 3 council meetings ago, we talked about the animal control, and I showed you guys some documentation, and we said we wanted to have a conversation with the people from Animal Control, and I've got something for you to be thinking about before they come, and I need to get a date from you guys. If we can sit here and think of a date, say, give us 2 or 3 weeks out, and then we've had a conversation with the management there, but I want a date that we can call and have them meet us here for a workshop, as John suggested. And I think that's what we should do. So looking at your calendars, what would be good for everybody? Is there a date during the week? It could be quite lengthy.
I really don't think it's gonna be beneficial. They pretty much go by Bay County's, animal control laws, and
They do?
that's pretty much, that's all they're gonna do for us.
Okay, all right. Then that being said, we can still talk about it.
We could go into making a code issues about creating a code enforcement issues versus loose animals.
So I wanted to tell you, in thinking about this, we currently pay about $9,000 a month just to have the dogs and wild animals picked up. I don't think that included tigers or anything like that, but we have the names and addresses of the people that have their animals picked up. I haven't discussed this with Mr. Sloan, but why aren't we adding that fine that we're currently having to pay to the citizens' water bill that didn't look after that animal?
That's a fantastic idea.
So that the money would then come from the bill that they receive monthly and not from the people of Parker who don't have an animal or a giraffe or an elephant. You know what I'm saying? I think that's just what I'm thinking. And I thought what I would do is wait till they came, but what John says is true. They're going to follow the guidelines of animal control. And I don't know if we could make that stricter than it currently is. Probably not. But Mr. Sloan, what would we have to do in order to make it that the fine, let's say the fine was $150 to pick up the dog, and they have the person's name and address where the animal resides. We could add it to the water bill that Ms. Purdue has in her BSA on her computer. What would we have to do to make that a thing?
I need to look at that, Mayor, because you're essentially transferring a cost to a citizen, and I need to look at how we can do that.
Okay, so what do you think about that, council? Have Mr. Sloan look at that? And then we as a people wouldn't have to pay for those people that aren't responsible. I mean, I know your dog escapes sometimes, and maybe there's some latitude there, but I think that when someone gets dog bit, we're obligated as the elected officials to do something about it. And I just think that we need to address this sooner than later. And this has been an ongoing problem for as long as I can remember with people getting dog bit. We built a dog cage over there for them to play in. Sloan will look it up. We'll make an ordinance or whatever. And if you guys think we should do this, I feel like this is something we should do. Really, really, really thinking about this is something we should do. All right. And then I have one other thing, and again, this is something to think about, but I need an answer for it pretty quick. I've been approached by the management and other businesses of the Pier 98 fishing pole club down there, fishing club, and they want to sponsor a 4th of July kingfish tournament at the park down there at Under the Oaks, not Under the Oaks, by the pier, and they would it'd be at no expense to the city, but people would come in with their fish that day, and they'd do a weigh-in. And they want to put a firework display down there and have vendors come out and give out food, snacks, and whatever people do when they go to a fishing tournament. Is that something that you think we should consider or think about? And if you want to do that, it will be 1 year from this 4th of July that they would do it. So people would come by boat, or they would launch their boat, or they would go wherever they went by boat. Go kingfish fishing, weigh in at Under the Oaks at or Gilbert, and then they would have an event down there.
I think it sounds fun.
Does sound like fun. Sounds like something to do.
You can't bring a big 30-foot boat into to Earl Gilbert Park.
Maybe they could they could park it off the edge of the pier, and I guess they could use a smaller boat to go back and forth. I guess, I don't know. What I was going to do, they approached me. I told them I would throw it out to you guys, and that they would, they do put 30-foot boats in there all the time.
It's gonna be, unless you got a football field worth of parking to deal with.
That's right.
You might well just spin your wheels and get started.
And I'm throwing it out to you guys. I agree with you, John. I understand what you're saying.
I've worked a couple of those Bellfish Summers when they
Yeah.
were down there, and parking will be a problem.
Yeah. See, the thing is, people are going to already be down there cooking on the grills. Some people get down there so early, they want them to get a gazebo, you know?
Yeah.
And they are fun. And it put us on the map. And a free firework display at, it's $1,000 a minute, and they're willing to do a 25-minute firework display.
At the end of the pier?
Down there at the end, yeah. Well, they got a device that does it.
They almost have to put a barge in order to do
Yeah, barge, yeah. So, I mean, it's up to you guys. Let's think about it, and then anything that you may, and surely they must have thought about all the possibilities before they asked me to ask you. But anyway, I've asked you, and then in 14 days we can decide on what you want to do, and I'll tell them then yes, no, maybe, or whatever we're going to do.
Well, I think it's a good idea, but we'd have to.
But see, what Mr. Haney says is correct. We'd have to. It's a lot of work for us too, because if you trailer a 30-foot fishing boat, I watch them down there. I go down there with someone 2 or 3 times a week, and a truck and a trailer for a 30-foot boat is about 50 feet long, 60 feet long. So I'm not sure whether it all fit. I don't know, and you know, what are you going to do if 100 people sign up to go out in the boat? I don't know where they would launch from. I don't know.
Tell them to go with the Donaldson Point boat launch.
Should I put that down? Donaldson Point boat landing.
Well, what about the
They
city?
could just walk from boat to boat, couldn't they,
See
down
how
there?
far that
What
gets
about
them.
the city's boat launch?
That
Because
is
they
a
got
city
their
boat launch.
parking,
That is a city boat
What it-
launch, or Gilbert Park.
the one at Watson Bayou. You got that boat
Oh,
launch
you mean,
there, and then they got all that parking across the street also.
Yeah, because but what the other thing to consider is where would they tie up at to come in and weigh, unless they came in and weighed, or if they know what they're doing better than me. I don't know how to set this up. I don't, but they asked me to ask you, so I'm asking you. Yes, ma'am.
Why don't you ask them?
Ask whom?
Pier 98.
No, they're the ones that asked me.
Yeah, that's supposed to ask them more details.
Yeah.
You need to know.
So what we could do is we could say 14 days from today, they could be here to talk to us. That'd be better?
Yep.
And then that way, I don't know the answers, they won't put me in the middle of asking. They can just answer the questions as we go along,
Instead of going back and forth.
right?
I'm thinking the boat's coming in that late in the afternoon, and alcohol and fireworks. Yeah, let's have
It's going to be a hell of a time,
Yeah,
John. You'll be there, won't you?
Yes, sir, I will not. I will stay my butt at home.
Sounds like Paul might be pretty busy that night.
Mr. Sloan, do you have anything, sir?
No, sir.
Ms. Bundy, do you have anything you would like to talk about? Nothing? Damn.
Who don't?
You don't fish and drink at the same time.
Oh.
Don't do it.
That's what I've been doing.
That's why you don't catch any fish.
Oh.
I want to tell everybody, and is Eric still in the room? Yeah. The being the mayor of the city of Parker is becoming. This is my easiest first period of time yet, because all the departments are firing on all 8 cylinders each. I ain't got to worry about the police no more. I don't have to worry about Public Works, and never did. And now we don't have to worry about the fire department. Everything's going just like it should. I'm so happy you said that everything was good, Mr. Nally, because I was thinking to myself, Lord, we're going to have to sell fruit on the side of the road to pay this bill by the time we get done. And I'm not just saying it because Summerlin's in the room, but he does a good job for us every day. So does Baxley, and so does now Higgins. He's with us. Nobody works as hard as Miss Bundy. I've never seen anybody could turn out so much BS in my life. I'm playing with you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming tonight.